In front of you are two images. One of them is real and the other one is AI generated. Which one do you think is real? If you said number one, you're wrong. This image and person are completely AI generated. 2024 has pretty much become the year of AI, from Apple coming up with their own AI for their phones to every website imaginable force feeding you their newest AI feature. At this point, AI is pretty much inescapable. But today, I want us to look at a different kind of AI use. Question: on whatever social platform you're on, have you ever received this kind of message? A random DM from a random account with a link to either an adult website or just a random person trying to steal your information. These types of accounts are an example of something we call a social bot, and by the end of this video, you're going to understand what they are, what they do, and also how to identify one out in the wild. In the 1950s, mathematician and computer scientist Alan Turing conducted an experiment called the imitation game. It had two types of contestants, a human and a machine. The judge or panel asked the contestants a series of questions and assessed the responses to see who gave a more human-like answer. And from the responses they got, the judges were supposed to decide whether the contestant was human or not. This method of testing the ability of a machine to act like a human came to be called the Turing test. Alan believed that there would come to be a time where a machine could be able to act like humans in an indistinguishable way, and this can be seen in his paper where he said that, "I believe that in about 50 years time, it'll be possible to program computers and make them play the imitation game so well that an average interrogator will not have a more than the 70% chance of making the right identification after 5 minutes of questioning." And the truth is, he wasn't that far off from what came to happen, because 15 years later in 1966, someone passed the Turing test, and as you can already tell by now, it wasn't a person. Meet Eliza, a computer program from MIT who managed to pass the Turing test, and the way that they managed to do this is that Eliza was able to replicate the behavior of a psychologist, and using this concept, it was able to identify keywords from the prompt of the person it was talking to almost reflect back their own words in a transformative way that was able to convince them that they were real. Keep Eliza in mind, as we're going to be coming back to her as you'll see in a short minute. Yes, I'm going to be referring to her as a she. 1972. Meet Perry. Now Perry here is a little bit different from Eliza. Not that much, just a little bit. You see, Perry here was being referred to as Eliza with an attitude. Why? Well, Perry here took up the personality of a paranoid schizophrenic. Yeah, and when he took part in the Turing test, the judges were only able to correctly identify him 50% of the times, which also means they were wrong 50% of the times as well. And keep in mind that the judges or panel that was taking part consisted of psychiatrists and professionals, which means that it was literally that good, and things were only going to get crazier from here. 2001. Meet Eugene Gustman. Now, the direction they decided to take with Eugene seems a little bit strange at first, but trust me, it's all going to make sense in a second. Eugene here is a 13-year-old boy from Odessa, Ukraine. His father is a gynecologist by profession, and he has one thing which he cares for very much: his pet guinea pig. I know, Lenny, I thought we were talking about a chatbot here. And yeah, we are. You see, Eugene needed a personality to further make him convincing, and the idea of making him 13 came from the fact that he made a lot of grammatical errors. So it made sense to make him 13 so people could forgive the errors when they came up. And from the words of the creators, a 13-year-old is not too young to know nothing, nor are they too old to know everything. In 2014, Eugene passed the Turing test after he managed to take part in a competition and fooled 30% of the judges. This pass, however, was faced with a lot of backlash, with people arguing that just because it fooled 30% of the judges doesn't mean that it passed the test. Because if we look at what Alan Turing said himself, an average interrogator will not have more than a 70% chance of making the right identification. But because Turing phrased this more as a prediction, no one could quite tell what the threshold for a pass was, so people just let this decision be. And remember when I told you to keep Eliza in mind? Well, here's something interesting. In 2023, Eliza beat ChatGPT version 3.5 in a Turing test study after Eliza got a pass rate of, get this, 27%, while GPT 3.5 got a whopping 14.5%. Let that sink in. It was more than 60 years from the time Eliza was made, but it still managed to beat ChatGPT. But as I said, this was the older version of ChatGPT. Improvements were made to the new one, and it was insanely better, with a pass rate of 40%. This is like really mind-blowing, because right now, which is more than 70 years later, we're pretty much living in that time and period Alan Turing described. And because I believe in hands-on learning, I wanted to try this myself, so I took part in an online Turing test, a game. And so in this game, you get to talk to someone for 2 minutes or so, and by the end of that conversation, decide whether you were talking to a real human or a bot. So I just found this online game where I think you have to figure out whether you're chatting with a human or a bot or an AI bot. I have not done this before, so let's test it. Okay, what's something a bot wouldn't? Turning around and desert you. Okay, we need to think of a way to find out whether or not we're talking to a bot. How do you know I'm not? Okay, I don't know if it's like the spelling right here is the one which makes me think, okay, this. What? What does that even mean? That's crazy. Okay, if that's a person, I think that's a person. I think that's a person. 3, 2, 1. Okay. That's a person. That's a human. Fuck. Wait, whoa, wait, what? Wait, no, wait. Wait, what? Okay, I think it got me because of the, I thought the spelling. Oh, shoot, that's crazy, though. Wait, what? I'm actually really surprised right now. Wait, what? That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Okay, let's try it again. Again. Let's try it. Let's have another game. What? That's the most AI thing anybody could ever think. I didn't though. Wait, okay. Oh, you fat guy. Okay, what? Okay, I was going off of the spelling before, but now I don't think like that's an actual metric that I should be looking at now. Make me. I can't even tell. How do you even tell whether you're talking to a human or not? What's a question that you could ask that an AI wouldn't understand? Or this is an AI, I think this is why do I think it's an AI? Second times the charm. I don't know. I literally don't know. I have no idea. A bot. Okay. Okay. Straight up garbage. Like, I still find it crazy that we're in a point in time where these bots are like so good at what they do, imitating humans, that most of the times you can't even tell whether the person you're talking to is even real. And sure, in the game that I didn't ask them more hard-hitting questions, but even without them, whatever form of conversation that I had there still served its purpose, because now you know what a Turing test is and even the crude form of how it even takes place. And something else that is even crazier is that this technology is still being considered to be in its early stages. It really just makes you wonder, how is the future going to look like 5, 10, or even 30 years from now if we're already this good now? It's really fascinating and scary at the same time to even think about it, but I'm already so grateful that we've gotten the chance to experience and see this technology in our lifetime. Now, let's talk about social bots. So when I was about 14 years old, that was back in 2020, my dad came home one day with an HP ProBook 6560B, the first computer that I ever owned in the very least. And this is also around the period where I'd been doing YouTube for about a year and I was still figuring everything out. So one day I opened up my laptop and posted a video, and almost immediately, a few minutes after the publish, I received a comment. I opened up my YouTube studio to check it out, only to find that some random account had left a link to a corn website under my video. And because I'd never received that sort of comment before, I started freaking out and quickly deleted that comment before my parents saw it, as they were still watching my videos at that time. I didn't know at the time, but this would come to be the first and not last personal interactions that I come to have with social bots. And now, which is like 4 years later, I'm making this video to that younger version of me who didn't know any better, but they still got to see and experience that without really knowing what it was. So let's start off with the basics. What is a social bot? Instead of me just telling you, I decided to look for someone who's more experienced in the field.
My name is Tanishjeet Singh. You can call me Danesh.
Danesh is a researcher at the Observatory on Social Media, or in short, you can call it awesome. And what do they do there exactly?
The observatory is mainly focused broadly on misinformation, deception, online deception. But my focus lately has been on generative AI and basically, broadly speaking, visual information and spread of visual information on social media.
Now that we know who he is, back to our main question. What is a social bot?
A social bot is a very broad term, I would say. It could mean anything from, you have accounts that would give you daily quotes. You have accounts that would, give you some sort of reminders. But most people are talking about bots that, maybe are doing some deceptive work online. Something like spamming, some agenda, similar kind of messages, do this, do this, do this, do this. It could be something like they just go on and follow everybody.
So what he's talking about here is that a social bot isn't just the accounts that spam you with suspicious messages. They also include bots that perform a certain task, because even from the definition of a social bot, it's mainly just any bot that acts partially or fully automated to perform a certain task. For example, on Twitter, there's an account that makes posts on the progress of the year. That's a social bot as well, assuming it's not a real person who's making these posts. It doesn't just have to be doing something deceptive, although that is going to be the main focus of this video, but it's still something that I want us to keep in mind as we go along in the video. Alright, look at this interesting metric that I found. According to a study done by CNBC, it was discovered that nearly 48 million accounts on Twitter weren't real. And this is really interesting because Twitter as a whole only has a user base of 400 million. And this was all the way back in 2017. And given that in 2024, that number has increased to 500 million, if we do some simple math and assume that the number of bots has increased in the same rate, then that number could have risen to about 60 million accounts. But we can only assume what this number is because this data is not publicly available. On Facebook, however, the story is much more interesting. Introducing slop pages. But Lenny, what is a slop page? Well, you're in luck, but instead of me just telling you, I've got a better idea.
What's on Brose's chin? Ew! Why don't pictures like this ever trend? Heart emoji. Sleepy emoji. Crying emoji. Amen. Beautiful cabin crew. Scarlett Johansson. Boom challenge. Vanessa Hudgens and a bunch of other hashtags and then boom. Okay, you know what this image reminds me? A Brent Rivera thumbnail. It's giving Brent Rivera. What? I think the best thing, I'm not gonna take a look at the okay. What is it? What's with the obsession with mouth and okay? Oh! What the Ew! Why don't pictures like this ever trend? Because they're weird, for fuck's sake.
You might be there thinking, Lenny, you don't expect anyone to fall for this. The images look fake. They look fake. Right? Well, yeah, these ones do, but you also have to consider the fact that not everyone knows about generative AI and in extension can tell whether an image is fake or not. So why are the people behind these pages doing this? Well, it's hard to know the motive, we can only assume, but the only thing that I can think of is money. I know what you're thinking, Lenny, this is crazy, but is it all done autonomously? Well,
I mean, social bots can also have like a human element involved in them. Like a bot would, have some sort of code, it goes like, keep following everybody you see. That's a decent algorithm. Or like, you have these bunch of pages, like 10, 20 pages, and every time they post, you have to post something under their post or video.
So Danesh here and some other folks did a study where they were trying to find the number of accounts on Twitter that used a fake profile picture, or let's just say an AI generated one, because most of the accounts on Twitter that are fake would be using a fake profile picture. And what they found was really interesting.
Basically, a lot of, like I said, you need to have a good set, like a big community, to be able to detect this as a bot. That's what we did. So we got around 1,400 plus accounts that use these AI faces. And when we're looking at these faces, they don't make much sense. You can't really tell them apart. If I give you one AI face, one real face, you won't be able to tell it apart. But if I give you 20 AI faces altogether, you will see some inconsistencies all across the board. So the biggest giveaway was eye positions for these AI faces. So something like their eyes were fixed in a relative position with respect to the whole picture. And we simply just build some sort of heuristic, like a signal, like if your eyes are in this position with respect to the image, it's probably AI face.
What he's saying here is that when you have a large collection or a bunch of these AI images, you start to notice a pattern among them. But if I give you just one real image and one fake image, you might find it hard to tell these images apart. And I thought the best way of testing this theory was through a makeshift game show. Welcome to Find the AI. These are my two brothers, and they're going to be my subjects for this experiment. Please ignore the fact that this voiceover was done way after the game show happened. Please. So before you are 3 sets of pictures, 2 of each side by side, and it is your job to find out which picture is real and which one is AI. Let's start off with round 1. Which one is real and which one is AI? And why? Also, in order to make this game show more fun, I want you guys to play along with them and see how well you do. Give me a number.
2 is AI, that's for a fact.
Why do you think 2 is AI?
I don't know, I need time. It looks AI, cartoonish. Okay, the hair looks fake.
Why do you think 1 is real?
No, 1 is still AI.
Why?
The teeth are black inside.
What? What do you mean the teeth are black inside? What if it's just dark?
I still think it's AI.
Okay.
Okay. First one, what I would say it's real.
Number 1 is real?
Yeah.
Why?
And the second one, it's more clearer than
What? Continue speaking.
it's more clearer than the first one.
So, number 2 is AI.
Yes.
Is that your final thoughts?
Yeah.
So at the end of this round, contestant number 1 says that both of the images are AI, while contestant number 2 says that number 1 is real, and number 2 looks a little bit fishy, hence it's AI. The results, however, are in, and the first image was real and the second one was AI. This puts contestant number 2 in the lead with 2 points, while contestant number 1 has 0. But maybe he's going to redeem himself in round 2. Go on to the next one. Which one do you think is AI?
Pretty much the second.
Why?
Okay. When I'm looking at the second picture, I can see that there's light behind this girl. Okay, the light reflected by the water can't be on the ground. That looks fake. And in the first one,
why are you using physics? You're being Einstein himself.
what?
Oh, the light doesn't reflect off the water.
Nah, it's true. Actually, how can the ground reflect light? How? It's impossible. Okay. So actually, according to my physical point of view, I think the second picture is not true. Well, basically the first.
Is number 1 real or AI? What are you quiet?
Wow, this was hard. Damn. I don't know.
Pick one. Which one is AI? Find the AI. Number 1 or number 2?
Holy number. The eyes are different in 2. Actually, I forgot. I didn't make that observation. Actually, the eye to my left, it's darker than the one to my right. So that is a little bit of sus.
So number 2 is AI.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And number 1 is real.
I don't know, man. The one's kind of hard. I don't know. I think it's real or something. No.
Number 1 is real, number 2 is AI.
Yeah.
Okay, the first one, I would say it's AI,
Why is number 1 AI?
because I can see. Okay, let me tell you why. In the second one, let me use the second one. The second one, it's real.
Number 2 is real.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, this one is hard. I'm a guess. I guess this one, the second one, is real, and the first one is AI.
Why do you think the first one is AI?
The sunset. Usually in the real one, the sunset doesn't look like that. Here.
Okay, so is that your final thoughts for round 2?
Yeah.
With contestant number 2 in the lead from round 1, contestant number 1 chose to lock in. Let's see if he cooked or got cooked. With both contestants choosing to take opposite stances for this round, only one was destined to win. And the winner of round 2 is contestant number 1 with a comeback of 2 points, leaving them both at a tie, which could only be broken in the last round, round 3. Let's go over to the last round, round 3. Which one is real and which one is AI?
Okay, I'm gonna say the first one is real, and the second one also it's real.
So, what is your final thoughts for round 3?
The second one is real. This one is AI.
Okay. Which one is AI and which one is real?
Both of them are real. This is I'm terrible at this. I'm terrible at this, brother. Nah.
You have to choose.
I don't know what to choose. I don't know. I'm blank. I don't know. One looks a bit real. I don't know. Damn. This is hard. You know what? Number 1's real.
What about number 2?
Okay, at this boy. I don't know. There's this thing that's not making sense. Behind this boy on my left, I can see that it's dry or something. I don't know, there's a rock or something. Looks just nasty. You know what? Cut that. I don't know what I just said.
So what do you think for round
No.
for round 3? Which one is real and which one is AI?
Number 2 is it's AI.
Number 2 is AI.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
This last one, I'll admit, it was pretty hard, but a winner must be chosen regardless. With both of the contestants tying at 2 points, the pressure for the win was on, but we can only have one winner. And before I tell you who it is, I have some bad news. So when we were shooting this results bit, my phone ran out of storage, so I never got to film their reaction. So 1 subscribe equals 1 step closer to buying a camera. But without any further ado, the winner of Find the AI is contestant number 2. Sorry, Lambert, the first image was AI generated, the second one was real. Gotcha.
Yay.
You're probably wondering, what was the point of this experiment? And the purpose of doing it was to just show you how easy it is for these AI generated images to blend in with the real one. Now imagine what could happen if someone weaponized this. Well, you don't have to because it's already happening. Subject number 1, Taylor Swift. So about sometime earlier this year, someone generated and spread fake AI images of Taylor Swift, but these weren't your usual form of images. These were sexual images, and before they could even get taken down, over 40 million people had already seen them. The damage had already been done, and it's not just images. videos were spread as well. I made an entire video talking about that. In case you're interested, you can go ahead and check that out after you're done with this one, because I still have more. And because it's literally so easy for just anyone to generate these images, it's also proving to be a problem, because you have people jailbreaking these models and using them to create highly inappropriate images of even people they knew in real life. And they're using the bots we mentioned earlier to spread them as well. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, while they have these bots DM random accounts on a large scale, mostly with links to crypto scams, inappropriate websites, or straight up phishing links. For those who don't know what phishing is, this is where they'll have you click on a link posing as a legitimate service or website when it is in fact just infested with malware, or they just want you to reveal sensitive information about yourself. These bots can also be used to spread malicious information, where for example, if it's on Twitter, they'll comment and retweet posts that contain malicious information. Or they could just make it seem like something or a topic has a high engagement when in reality most of it is not even real. So how am I even supposed to identify these AI generated images? And on the inconsistencies you've just mentioned about these images, besides the eye positions and the facial feature positions, is there anything else that someone can use to identify these images as probably AI generated?
Yes and no. So depends actually. So what we worked on detecting is called a GAN image, like a GAN face, GAN.
Whoa. I know. Lenny, what's a GAN? Well, a GAN is a type of AI model for producing images. As he's going to mention, it's not state of the art, it's good, it's decent. But on the other hand, we have diffusion models. These are the Midjourney, DALL-E, etc. And they're the ones with the good stuff. So for what he's about to explain, just keep in mind that GAN, it's good. Not state of the art, just good. But diffusion models, that's the good stuff.
So it's kind of AI technology, like a machine learning model that can create these images. And it's not very good, and it's not even state of the art. But despite the eye positions, you can look at other artifacts. Maybe look at the background, maybe the background's weird, maybe look at their clothes that has some weird texture. That would be a good signal. But if we look at state of the art, like diffusion models, those are really, really hard. Like even sometimes I feel deceived by those images. You can't really tell.
So in summary, what he's saying is that although there's some stuff like the background which you can look at, when you're out in the wild scrolling, it's not like you're going over each image scrutinizing every single detail. So what you can do is don't believe everything you see on social media. I feel like we've said that a bunch of times, but it is true. Don't believe everything you see on social media, because maybe the grandma you saw on Facebook isn't actually 100 years old like she said. So it's all about sensitization, and it's the bare minimum that we can do. Okay, sure, we now know all this information, but there's still one big question remaining. What does the future of AI look like?
I mean, it looks scary if you just look at whatever the state of the art is, something like ChatGPT, and you have tools like Midjourney, DALL-E, other open source diffusion models that can generate images in a fly. It looks scary, but let's see how things go.
But there's a question that to this moment I still haven't quite understood. These platforms, they know these bots are there. They know what they're doing. But sometimes it feels like there's very little that is being done. Why?
I think that is a very good question, but it's also their business model. So the reason social media companies exist and profit is to, have another medium to do marketing. They obviously want more and more people on the platform, because then they're going to go to marketing firms and be like, oh, we have 30 million people, we have 50 million people, so you should, advertise on our platform, then, going on TV or putting billboards up there. But at the same time, they can't just have this whole platform filled by bots, because then, it's too obvious. They really don't have an incentive to curb this bot problem unless, it starts hurting their actual numbers, like more and more people are rejecting their platform and moving to someplace else.
Which makes total sense. Why would they ban or remove these accounts when to them, human? Bot? It's all the same. It's all just a number, a metric. But when you have people starting to leave their platform because of it, then they step in and remove some of them. Not too many, just some. I mean, think about this. In 2023 alone, Facebook removed over 800 million fake accounts. That's a lot, right? Yeah, it is, but when you compare that to 3 billion, you start to see the bigger picture. If banning 800 million is only scratching the surface, how many bot accounts are there? It's all about pushing the line just right to where it doesn't hurt their numbers, but not too little where it starts to harm their users. It's all a numbers game. So what am I supposed to do if I come across one?
The best thing would be, the best and the quick thing would be to just report it. But if you're a little curious like me, if you find one bot, you can go to their follower following, and they're probably following other bots. And you can uncover like a really cool network of bots. They're probably working in coordination, you know, like one bot comments and another one follows, another one follows. You can just track these, keep a log of it, maybe write a blog post, maybe reach out to somebody who's actually doing research in computational social science or like bot detection, and they'll be more than happy to talk to you.
Wow, we've really come so far, but I still have one final question for you. Does it get better or worse? Well, the answer to that question is something that only you can decide. But the simple answer is both. Are you the person who believes that one day these bots are going to get so good at what they do to where they just replace humans in the fields that they're in? Or do you see it a little bit differently? For me, I'm just going to answer that question with another question. Why do you go on Instagram? Why do you go on YouTube? Or if you're that person, why do you go on Facebook? In the very least, it's to connect and talk to people that you might not necessarily be close to, or even those that you probably would have never even met, which I think we forget was the original purpose of social media. And no matter how much that vision might have changed with attention-grabbing and addictive algorithms, and most importantly, the uncertainty of whether you're talking to a real human being, I still find it fascinating that this is even possible. And I still go back to what Danish said, that it's all about embracing and using this technology to better hone our craft. The same way that the invention of the car didn't eliminate walking, the same way that this technology can also be used as a tool to better our lives and experience. It's like Uncle Ben always said, with great power comes great responsibility. Okay, now that you know, what are you gonna do? And do you have anything else to tell the people before you go?
Subscribe. This is the worst thing I've ever done. Just subscribe.